such as why do we have to go through all this? Change, things might have turned out much differently. Are you facing change? Any engine quit in your life lately? If so, ask the better questions here. That really works. How can I adapt to the changing world? Chapter 8. Why do they communicate better? In the many workshops I've facilitated over the years, this scene has played out over and over again. I'll ask, what's the biggest problem facing your your organization today? Almost every time the answer is not or competition, but communication, which generally framed like this. Why don't they communicate better? Communication is a big problem, partially because we seem confused over what excellent communication looks like and how we get there. Effective communication is not someone else's job, nor does it begin with being understood. Rather, it's about understanding the other person. In many organizations today, we are striving to hold better conversation and experience at a higher level of dialogue with colleagues. And a terrific way to get there is to ask QBQs such as, what can I do to become more effective listener? How can I become a better understanding others? Don't ask when. When will they take care of the problem? When will the customer call me back? When will we get the information we need to make a decision? When we ask when, we're really saying we have no choice but to wait, but off action another time. Questions that begin with when lead to procrastination. Don't believe people. Instead of procrastinate, certainly no one ever gets out of bed and says, today I'm going to procrastinate. Even hardcore procrastinators who might want to say that would not say it. But procrastination is a sneaky problem. We put some things until later, and then a little later, and a little later again. Before we know it, the action has been postponed so that it has become a serious problem in any procrastination going on in your life. Procrastination is a problem for them. And if it is a problem for most people, it's a problem for most organizations. What are the consequences? Putting things off means precious time is lost. Productivity suffers. Off mean precious time is lost. I got confused. The team may not progress toward its goal. Deadlines are missed. In sense, the speed needed to be outstanding organization just isn't there. A client once said, long-range strategic planning is a great tool, but we need to get some things done before lunch. Procrastination also increases stress. As things pile up, we begin to feel overwhelmed, which takes the joy out of our work. Bottom line, procrastination is costly to all involved. Why we do it? I'm sure there are reasons we could explore, but frankly, I prefer to ask about solutions. And solution is to stop asking internal focus when questions. Instead, we need to ask QBQs such as, what solution can I provide? How can I move more creatively reaching my customer? How can I excel my work right now? Chapter 10, Procrastination, the Friend of Failure. I decided to give up away a very large old wooden desk. topped with a piece of quarter-inch thick clear glass, about 3 feet by 5 feet. The new owner didn't want the glass. When we loaded the desk into his truck early Saturday morning, we felt the sheet of glass leaning against the basketball hoop pole at the edge of the driveway. As my friend drove away, the desk, he said, "Wouldn't you had better put the glass in a safe place?" Yelled back. "I will." I didn't. But I didn't. I glanced at it and told myself I'll do it later. Then I got busy. Trimming bushes, cleaning the garage. Every time I walked to the sheet of glass, I told myself that I should move it before it blew over, or I'll do it later. I kept thinking. The day wore and decided to go out to dinner as a family. As we backed up the driveway, my wife Karen said, "Shouldn't we put that glass someplace safe?" You know what? You know what I told her? A couple hours later, we arrived home at dusk, and we were heading into the house when the spotted pair of glass clippers sitting near the curb. I said to our son, Michael, who was 9. Michael would go over there and grab those clippers, put them in the garage for me, please. Off he went, headed into the house. It was a quiet Saturday evening in our pleasant neighborhood, until his silence was broken by the terrifying sound I've ever heard. The terrifying large piece of glass. Realized instantly what had happened. I also ran and dashed out of the garage around the car to find Michael lying on the driveway, his stomach atop hundreds of deadly shards of glass, some more than a foot long. He was crying as I ran, carrying him to the front porch. I held him under the light to check his injuries, expecting the worst, and couldn't believe what I saw. Not a scratch. He had run into the glass and fell on top of it as it hit the driveway, but there wasn't a mark on him. To say we felt incredibly thankful would have been understatement. Why did this incident happen? Procrastination, the friend of failure. I knew the glass needed to be put away, and doing so would have taken more than a few minutes, but I put it off and put it off until finally it exploded into what could have been a catastrophe. I'll do it later thinking can be costly in many ways. Let's take care of the little things while they're still little. Chapter 11. When will we get some more tools? Better. Most of us have heard saying, creative is thinking outside the box. There's a lot of truth in that. The true creativity is succeeding within the box. Hitting targets, reaching goals, doing the job well, and making a difference. With what we already have is the cubicle every organization has. Imperfect system of finite resources. We may wish we had newer tools, better systems, better people, bigger budgets, but thinking too much about what we'd like to have is another cause of procrastination. Managers, for example, won't take the group through training until all the right people are in the place. Individuals won't make a decision until they have all the information or take action until all the questions are answered. Ironically, succeeding with what we have make us more likely to get the things we want in the first place. Listen to the wisdom of Deb Weber, the State Farm Insurance. I find that every time I do the job with tools, I have to tend to receive more tools. The truth, we sow, then we reap. Focusing on what we don't have on a waste of time and energy and kills innovation to really make a difference. Let's instead focus on our energy and succeeding within the box. Let's ask the QBQ, how can I achieve with the resources I already have? Chapter 12. When are we going to hear something new? Salespeople sometimes ask me, John, I have taken selling skills 101. What's next? My answer, nothing. Selling is complicated. If salespeople consistently practice the fundamentals, getting up early, contacting prospective clients, sharing their beliefs and products, service, following up the customers, they'll be successful. Likewise, it comes to the principles on which we can base our organization, live such as service, integrity, and accountability. The old stuff is the good stuff. How often in our organization have we brought in the blue program, the red program, and the green program, all inside 90 days, only to have them make little differences because there's no quick fix for long-term problems. We don't need the new thing or the hot topic. We need to do is stay away from the fads and practice the fundamentals, like personal accountability, day in and day out. Often, when people learn about the QBQ and message of personal accountability, of personal accountability, they say, wow, this is so timely. But in reality, personal accountability is not timely. It's timeless. It worked yesterday, it worked today, and it will work tomorrow. So when we are going to hear something new, it's definitely an IQ. The better question to ask is, how can I apply what I'm hearing, even if I've heard it before? Don't ask who made the mistake, who missed the deadline, who dropped the ball. When we ask who questions like these, what are we really doing? Is looking for scapegoats, someone who else to blame. Don't blame, and blame may well be most persuasive and counterproductive of all the ideas we have talked about so far. Look at the image that illustrates this chapter. The person with the arms crossed, fingers pointing at everyone else. I call this the company of coat arms. Company of coat of arms. The sad truth is that the image accurately depicts what goes on in many organizations every single day. While riding in a van from a snowboard ski resort in Utah to the Salt Lake airport, I struck up a conversation with the driver. Turned out he doubted as a sales manager for the transportation firm. As we talked about the subject or blame, he said, oh, we got this blame going in our company. Really, I said, yeah. He continued, the receptionist blames the dispatchers, who blames the drivers, who blames the salespeople, who blames me. I stopped him. How many people are in your firm? 12, he said. 12 people? I guess you don't have to be big to play the blame game. From the smallest group to the largest corruption.